You're listening to the JJS Podcast. Up to this point, the most successful companies around the world have had entire departments made up of full-time employees dedicated to providing marketing communication support, leaving every other company without those resources at a distinct disadvantage. Well, the world has changed, and we have to change with it. That's why I'm going to take my 15 years of experience of managing marketing communication strategies for some of the biggest brands in the world and share that knowledge with you so that it can improve your business and your life. So if you're a business professional or an entrepreneur who wants to learn how to deploy the right strategies given your position and the position of the audience you're trying to reach, you're in the right place. Hey guys, welcome to the JJS Podcast. So today's episode is going to be one of those bandwagon episodes where we kind of talk about what everyone else is talking about. We're going to talk today about AI. It's something that everyone's talking about right now. I've been meaning to do an episode on this for quite a while, but it's JJS. We've been really busy, thankfully. So, but I wanted to get an episode in today, since this subject's not really kind of going anywhere, and someone outside the context of JJS Podcast, asked me what I thought about it and all this. So I figured I'd do an episode on it, and I just want to address some of the concerns that folks in marketing communications have about it, and folks in the professional world in general have about it. I have touched on the subject of AI before in previous episodes, but kind of in passing. I haven't really focused too much on it. It's kind of, its growing sophistication and expansion is kind of, part of the puzzle piece of this new world of work that I've been talking so much about lately. Its advent is kind of also one of these factors that's impacting, shaping the future of the world of work. And so I figured I'd come on here and just talk about it, and also just kind of in a broader, more philosophical sense. I guess I'll do that as well while I'm at it, since it's kind of ripe for the picking. So first, let's discuss AI itself and how it fits into the bigger piece of the professional environment. So the thing about AI is that you can think of it as, and I worked for a little while at an AI chatbot company, so I'm not technical by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get me wrong, but I am somewhat familiar with the technology and how it functions. So first thing you got to understand about AI is that it is never going to, at least not for a long time, I don't think. It's never going to completely replace an actual human resource, okay? It's not, and it never will be, a sentient being. It is now, having said that, and I've said this before too, if you're someone whose role or job is essentially calculation, if you were to strip everything else away, if you were to break it down, and your function is essentially calculating things, I think you probably should be a little concerned. Not that your job or your function will be completely eliminated, because you'll always need kind of people in the mix, but that its significance could be scaled down a little bit, for sure. If you have very powerful AI programs that are able to calculate things faster than you are, and more of those things at a higher volume than you are, yes, I think you should probably think about upskilling a little bit, or training on something, or maybe training on how to use AI specific. If you're in finance, maybe getting certified or trained in how to use AI, AI specific to finance and financial functions. I think that would be wise. But yeah, AI is going to probably impact those kind of roles. Sure. It's, automation in general is going to impact roles where the job is rote, routine, repeatable, and doesn't require a lot of creative thinking. Yeah, I do think there is, for sure. I mean, that's obvious. Now, what I don't think folks should really be too concerned about is if you are if you serve a strategic function, and or a creative function. Those are the two things that an AI, I don't think, for many years quite frankly, is going to be able to do, as well as a human being who is good at those things. That's the important caveat. It may be able to do it as well as somebody who's not that good at those things, but it won't ever be as good as somebody who is good at those things. So, because you have to understand, especially folks in marketing communications, or folks who aren't in marketing communications and don't really have a full understanding of what's entailed, they make it sound like, oh, well, ChatGPT is gonna take over your jobs, and just write content, and you won't need to hire a marketing person for that, and whatnot. First of all, I've used ChatGPT myself for different things. I'll tell you one thing it is not that good at least not yet, is writing compelling content. Okay, if you just want it to write something simple, 1, 2, 3, or something very technical that doesn't require a lot of creativity or inspiration or levity or anything like that, it can get that done, but it can't really write you compelling content. All right, it can just kind of organize the content for you in a logical sequence that you can then revise and edit. But it's really not good at producing what I would consider something that's an acceptable final product for in a professional sense. You still need to tweak what it does. It'll save you some time, because sometimes one of the hardest things for folks, I hear all the time, not just from people in marketing, people who are outside of marketing, or people who just aren't writers, is getting that first draft done. So, a lot of people are praising its ability to do that for you, just to get the core draft, the initial one on paper down. It can definitely help you with that and save you some time. But it cannot produce a final product for you. That's not something that I would use it for. What I would use it for, and what I have used it for, is if, let's say, you're building an automation workflow in something like Power Automate or Power Apps, or anything else. If you need to know what formula should I use for this expression to build out this workflow, if I want the automation to achieve this, what should be the workflow formula that I should use for this piece, it can help you with something like that, 100%. But I would not. And another thing you have to be cognizant of and aware of, and I don't think people are, and I think you're going to start hearing some more noise. There's already been some news stories about this happening lately. What I do think needs to be worried about is you can't take proprietary information or IP information or sensitive information and drop into ChatGPT. Okay, you cannot do that, or you shouldn't do that. And folks, I believe, I sense in the last 6 months or so, have probably been doing that. They've been taking, they work somewhere and they're taking sensitive information and dropping to ChatGPT and saying, hey, can you just write me an email about this, or write me a guide about this, or write me a SharePoint page about this, just to save them time to get things done. And I think, unfortunately, if you have done that, you've unknowingly violated, or maybe knowingly violated, the laws around private information, proprietary information. So, maybe don't do that. And that's another reason why you can't really use it for that, because once you input in ChatGPT, you've just shared private information publicly, right? You've given it to OpenAI. So don't do that. Like the show? Well, then make sure to check out every previous episode and tune in for new ones as we discuss marketing, business, and the new world of work anywhere you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe after this episode, and thanks for listening. I think the only way you can use it that way is if you have a custom-built AI built in-house that's kind of insulated. If you want to use the technology in that way, but if not, I don't think it's wise for you to use it in that way and just dropping into the ChatGPT that's publicly accessible. So now, aside from all that, It's important to understand in general, just like every other technology that's ever existed. Okay, the same applies to AI. AI is a prosthetic. Okay, it's an intellectual prosthetic. It can amplify and extend the abilities and the intentions of the wielder, right? So, just like, and this applies to everything, a hammer can be used to build a house, but it can also be used as a weapon. And the most recent example we've seen of this as well is, just look at social media, right? Social media, when people were first designing these social media platforms, and the first groups of people to use those platforms, what do you think, what do you think they were thinking, right? They were probably thinking, oh, this is gonna bring folks together. This is gonna keep people connected, and in a way that they never have been able to before. And although that was true in some sense, I think we can all say pretty comfortably that social media and these algorithms have not really brought people together as much as it's divided people. It's not even close. It's actually been more divisive and disconnected folks more than it's brought them together or connected them, right? And that, I don't believe that was the intent when it was developed or designed, or when it was first being used. So, I sent, and folks who are kind of high up there, like Elon Musk and these other individuals who are in the tech space, they're concerned about AI, and I don't think they're concerned about AI in the sense that the layman is concerned about AI. When like that's going to be Skynet and start pumping out Terminators and stuff to take over the world. I don't think that's the concern. I think the concern with AI is the ways in which it can be used that we haven't thought of yet, right? And you look around and you see how social media and the platforms, and I'm not going to get too much in detail because I don't want to cause controversy or anything like that. But I think it's safe to say if we all look around, we can see that people are kind of losing it, right? People are kind of and it's not limited to one ideology. It's not limited to one group. It's kind of pervasive throughout society right now that something's wrong with people, right? They're off, and as much as this makes me sound like an old man and a Luddite or whatever, I think it's pretty obvious that it's the digital technology, that this is impacting people in a way psychobiologically that they're not fully aware of. And there's a great documentary, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it already, called The Social Dilemma, that kind of goes into this and how these different applications are affecting human beings psychologically in ways that they're not even aware that it's affecting them. And it all because they were designed to keep people on the platforms. They weren't trying to, develop something that manipulates people per se, to act out and do insane things. But it was designed to keep them on it. However, one of the side effects seems to be that it completely throws them into this sort of frenzied trance, so to speak, because they're getting, they're getting algorithmed essentially. The algorithm is messing with their head, trying just to keep them on it, and it's inadvertently learned that one of the ways to keep folks on the platform and the application is to convince them that the worst possible things they can imagine are happening all the time, everywhere, nonstop, and to get them really riled up about it and upset about it. And all the algorithm's trying to do is keep you on the platform. It doesn't realize that it's causing you to become extremely paranoid and extremely violent, and extremely angry and hateful, and thinking things are these people's faults and those people's faults, and they're all after me and all this stuff. It that wasn't the intent. The intent was just to serve you up ads, right? So, similar to that, I think the concern around AI is that sort of problem only getting worse. way worse, right? And folks getting more sophisticated in their machinations to achieve those things through AI, because one of the natural filters to that, to that getting worse, or to people committing cyber crimes in general, is that not everyone knows how to code, or not everyone knows how to use these systems that way, at that technical level. Well, AI might be able to bridge that gap for those people, for bad actors who want to manipulate more people, or who want to commit cyber crimes or whatnot, because all they have to do is tell the AI to do it, or tell them how to do it. And that is the problem that could get worse. And in terms of, if you want to get really paranoid and think about what the potential Armageddon-like scenario could be when it comes to AI, I don't think it's a Skynet nuking the world type of scenario. I guess that's possible, but I think there'll be fail-safes in place to prevent that. I think the real problem is AI getting so sophisticated and yet so easy to use that it becomes impossible to trust anything you're seeing anymore on a device, through a digital means at all. Imagine a scenario where, let's just say hypothetically, that someone creates a very, very convincing AI-powered deepfake video of someone very important saying something completely crazy, and making it so convincing that people are convinced that it's real for a day or so. And then other people begin reacting to that thing, believing that it's real. That kind of scenario is what I'm more concerned about, right? And, eventually going down a road where it becomes so easy to simulate and fake. Imagine even interpersonal relationships. Imagine if someone could simulate through AI an entire conversation or that you're having with your spouse or your friend that you're not actually really having. It's not even them, but you don't know that, right? It's an AI powered deepfake video, or AI powered deepfake filter they're using to impersonate that person. I don't think it's so much Skynet, post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland type of scenario. I think it's more, we all collectively deciding to go pre-industrial age type of scenario, where we don't trust any of the technology anymore. That we don't trust anything we're seeing anymore. Social media and just the internet itself becoming completely unusable because it's so easy to simulate and fake everything. A scenario in which every time you pick up a device or go into the internet, it's just 99.9% bots and spam. That's my concern. That's the thing I think could happen with AI as it currently exists. And yes, it's getting more sophisticated, it's getting more advanced with each passing day. But we're never going to have I don't think we're ever going to have the problem of an AI becoming self-aware and wanting to destroy all humans and all this stuff. It'll be too easy to mitigate that, right? And to interfere with the program, the system, or whatnot. Technology is never. We wish technology would work that well, right? We wish that technology could work so well that it becomes a super sentient, intelligent being that controls everything. Like, it never works that well. You lose signal, it's over. If the thing falls too deep in water, it's broken. Technology doesn't work that well, but what it can do, and what people are good at, and using it for, is that kind of thing. Is using it for, spam and, just kind of inundating systems or things. Even on Twitter, it has that issue, right? And Elon Musk says he's addressed that issue, or he's addressing it now. But it's got the issue of just proliferating a massive amount of bots to ban people, or to, amplify the opinion or voice of someone or something more than it actually, make it seem like it's more popular than it actually is. Those kind of things. That's where I think AI could present a real issue for folks. It could get to a point where you don't trust anyone or anything you're seeing unless you're seeing or talking to that person in person. I think that's a more likely kind of post-apocalyptic Armageddon scenario where we just can't even use the digital technology anymore. It becomes unusable. But so, I wouldn't worry too much about a nuclear holocaust or, you losing your job tomorrow. I will say definitely use the technology intelligently, definitely use it in a smart way, and to the point of how it's affecting the future of the world of work. Again, because people are going to leverage these technologies, an individual knowledge worker can amplify their impact and how much activities they can do as one person by leveraging the AI. The AI can't replace, let's say a marketing communications person, because I'll tell you right now, unfortunately, for those who aren't aware, writing and content or any of that stuff is actually the minority of what we do. The majority of what we do is strategy and is thinking in a very profound conceptual way that AI can't. We have to devise strategies to achieve different objectives based on who we're speaking to, what we're saying to them, how they're likely to react to that, and how that gets us closer or farther away from our desired objective. And that's not something that AI is sophisticated or intelligent enough to do. It can't get into a room and understand this person is that title, and even though they're wrong about everything, you can't tell them that they're wrong about everything in that way, so you have to tell them in a different way, and you have to get this person's buy-in in order for them to sign off. I mean, it's a lot of it is just human dynamics and politics and bureaucracy and whatnot, and that's not something that really AI can do. So, I wouldn't be so worried. If you're good at what you do in terms of strategy or creativity or any of that, AI is not going to replace you anytime soon. In fact, it can help you and it can amplify your impact, and it can make you. It can definitely help you scale up. But for people for employers who think that I'll just get AI or I'll automate this person's role. Yes, a lot of the accounting people probably. Administrative tasks, it'll probably get very good at those things as well. Yeah, but it's not going to be able to replace your thinkers in the room. It can't. There's too much that's unsaid and that needs to be understood in order to do that job. And AI won't understand those nuances and those subtleties. So, but definitely, leverage technology in the way that it can be leveraged today. Don't drop in a bunch of proprietary information or sensitive information into it thinking that it's going to help you write an email or any kind of content. Don't use it for that unless you have it, you have a customized one that's built in-house or you're using the API to build one in-house. That's different, but don't just drop it into Chat GPT. That's not going to be good. So, hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, good luck out there. Thank you for checking out this episode of the JJS Podcast. If you're watching us via YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. And if you're listening in through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or something like that, be sure to rate us there as well. Hope you enjoyed listening. And remember, communication without strategy is just noise. Till next time.